Hi, this is Kendall Boyson, professional life and recovery coach, and you're listening to Encouragementology, the practice of instilling hope. Hi there. Thanks for joining me. On this show, we're talking about how to stop rushing toward what's next and start enjoying the ride. Have you ever caught yourself racing through life, so focused on the finish line that you barely notice the scenery around you? It's easy to fall into a pattern of when I get there, then I'll be happy, only to find that there keeps moving further away. Whether it's the next promotion, the next milestone, or just the next weekend, we're often living for the future and missing the now. In this episode, we'll explore what it means to slow down and actually enjoy the journey. We'll talk about how to balance ambition with presence, how to check in with yourself along the way, and how to set future goals that honor where you are today. The road may be long, but it's filled with meaning if only we'll pause to take it all in. Why are we in such a hurry to get there, wherever there may be? Financial security, a relationship milestone, a certain job title. We often place so much pressure on the end goal that we forget to live on the way to it. It's like being on a beautiful scenic drive, but instead of taking in the views, you're glued to the GPS, focused, determined, unavailable. This urgency often stems from our culture's obsession with productivity and achievement. From a young age, we're taught to aim high, set goals, and never stop climbing. And while ambition can be a healthy motivator, it can also become a thief, stealing joy from our present moments and creating anxiety about a future we can't fully control. Have you ever reached a long-awaited milestone only to feel let down afterward? Like the buildup was more thrilling than the arrival. That's a sign you might be living for the next thing instead of enjoying the current one. When we're constantly chasing what's ahead, we miss opportunities for connection, reflection, and simple joy that exist right now. The truth is, the destination is only part of the journey. And ironically, that real transformation happens along the way, in the delays, the detours, the conversations, and the quiet moments of self-discovery. So let's slow down for a second. What if you already are becoming who you're meant to be? What if rushing is keeping you from noticing how far you've actually come? There's nothing wrong with wanting more. Goals give our lives direction, motivation, and meaning. But if we're not careful, they can also become blinders, blocking out everything that isn't the finish line. Ambition says, keep going, you're not there yet. Presence asks, but aren't you here now? We often think of balance as a 50-50 split, but real balance is fluid. It's about noticing when you're leaning too hard in any one area and gently adjusting. If you're consumed by future planning, always asking what's next, you might be missing what's now. And what's now is where life actually happens. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking you can only be one or the other, driven or mindful. But the truth is, you can be both. You can pursue your dreams without bulldozing through the life you're living today. Try this. Instead of setting goals that only live in the future, create ones that honor your present. For example, I want to grow in my career becomes I want to enjoy learning something new in my role each week. I want to be in a relationship becomes I want to feel more connected to people in my life right now. I want to make more money becomes I want to manage what I have with more intention. These kinds of goals are rooted in reality, not fantasy. They build momentum and presence. At the end of the day, your future isn't a place you arrive. It's a continuation of your current journey. You get to decide if it feels rushed, frantic, and disconnected, or if it feels intentional, steady, and deeply lived. Let's be honest. Most of us have found ourselves in destination mode at some point. It's that tunnel vision where all that matters is reaching the next milestone. The job, the house, the relationship, the weight loss, the big break. And while those goals may be valid, the danger comes when we start measuring our worth by how close we are to reaching them. So how do you know if you're stuck in destination mode? Here are a few signs. You feel like you're always behind, no matter what you accomplish. You minimize or skip celebrating wins because there's more to do. You're constantly comparing your timelines to others. You struggle to enjoy downtime because it feels unproductive. You feel restless even in moments of peace. Sound familiar? Don't worry. This isn't a reason to beat yourself up. It's simply a signal that it's time to recalibrate. It's time to get back into your lane and your pace. Let's take a quick breath and remember this. You're not behind, you're becoming. What's one thing you've overlooked or rushed through lately because you are too focused on what's next? A conversation? A meal? A moment of quiet? I would say every day. Instead of chasing what's around the corner, what would it feel like to fully occupy the mile you're in? There's power in presence. It doesn't slow your progress, it fuels it. Because when you're connected to what's happening now, you make better decisions, build stronger relationships, and live with more joy. Before we dive into our action plan, let's highlight a smart perspective. Goals aren't finish lines. They're invitations to experience life more fully. Jordan Grumpet reminds us that goals give direction, yes, but the real gift is in the journey of pursuing them. Let's break down his approach. We live in a culture obsessed with goals. Crush it, manifest it, 10 times your results. From vision boards to bucket lists, we're told that success depends on dreaming big and chasing relentlessly. But what if that mindset is quietly stealing your joy? I'm not against goals. I've pursued plenty of big ones myself. But I've learned that when we treat goals as the only measure of meaning, we risk spending most of our lives doing things we don't enjoy, hoping for a payoff that may never come, or that feels fleeting when it does. We need to be goal agnostic, not goal phobic. That means welcoming goals into our lives, but holding them lightly. It means letting goals guide us, but not define us. It means caring less about whether we reach the finish line and more about whether we're enjoying the run. Here are 3 reasons why goals still matter, even if we don't hinge our happiness on achieving them. Number 1, goals set our intention. I talk a lot about purpose. not some grand capital P purpose, but a more grounded, process-oriented version, what I call little p purpose. It's about the activities that light us up in the present and feel worth showing up for. You don't need a goal to feel purposeful, but goals can help set direction. Take my experience writing a book. My big goal was to get traditionally published. The goal sent me in a direction, but the real magic was in the day-to-day, writing, refining my proposal, working with an agent, and querying publishers. I genuinely enjoyed all of it. And because I wasn't attached to the outcome, I could focus on the process. If I got the book deal, great. If I didn't, I'd still have spent my time doing something that gave me energy. Goals help us aim our purpose like a compass, not a contract. They get us moving, but they don't have to be the only reason we keep going. Number 2, goals lead to happy side effects. Sometimes the best outcomes aren't the ones we planned. Back to my book journey. Sure, I wanted to get published, but along the way, something unexpected happened. I met incredible people, fellow writers, podcasters, and editors. One connection led to an invitation to be on a podcast. Another introduced me to a writing group. And one day, I found myself invited to blog for Psychology Today. None of that was on the original goal list, but all of it made my life better. This is the underrated gift of goals. When we enjoy the process, our efforts create ripples, new relationships, new skills, new insights. These happy side effects are often more rewarding than the original achievement. Go ahead and aim for something big, but don't be surprised if the real payoff is what you stumble upon along the way. Number 3, goals bring us together. There's something else goals do, maybe the most important thing. They connect us. Writing a book wasn't something I could do in isolation. I needed mentors. I needed feedback. I needed an agent and a publishing team. Over time, those collaborators became colleagues, and some became close friends. Big goals often force us to reach out, to ask for help, to build partnerships, to lean on others. That interdependence builds community. It gives us a tribe. We're often taught to chase goals in competition with others, but in reality, some of the deepest joy comes from collaborating in pursuit of something that matters. It's not the goal itself that creates fulfillment. It's the people we meet, the support we exchange, the relationships we build along the way. So, should you set goals? Absolutely. Just don't make them your identity. Be bold enough to dream, but humble enough to adapt. Be focused enough to move forward, but flexible enough to enjoy the detours. Be goal agnostic. Because the goal isn't the destination. The goal is the invitation. It invites you to live with intention, to enjoy the process, to find meaning in the moment, to connect with others, to grow in ways you've never imagined. Go ahead, set that big, audacious goal. Just make sure you actually enjoy what you're doing on the way there. In a nutshell, Grumpet helps us reframe goals in 3 powerful ways. Let's not forget. First one, set direction. They point us toward purpose without tethering our worth to the finish line. They spark unexpected joy. Along the way, we meet people, learn skills, and enjoy surprises we never planned, if we're paying attention. And we build community. We don't pursue in isolation. Goals invite connection, collaboration, and shared growth. Instead of viewing goals as a solo race to a tape, imagine them as doorways into more meaningful living, a source of connection, discovery, and momentum. Let's treat our goals as open invitations, not rigid deadlines. Let's get practical. If you've been laser focused on reaching the next milestone, this is your chance to zoom out, breathe, and take stock of the full journey. Here's how to blend ambition with presence. Are you ready? Maybe a pen and a paper would be helpful here. Check your inner compass. Ready? Ask yourself a couple of questions. Why am I chasing this goal? How often have we stopped to ask why? What do I hope to feel when I get there? Is there any part of me that already feels that now? Bringing awareness to your why helps anchor your motivation and meaning, not just movement. Remember, if this is a long-term goal, you might have been a totally different person when you set it than where you are now and who you are now. It's okay to say, you know what, that was important to me then, but now I'm different and there are different things that I'm interested in. So let me go back and modify this goal to meet me where I am today. Number 2, pause for a present moment audit. At least once a day, stop and take 60 seconds to ask, what am I grateful for right now? Who did I connect with today? What made me smile? It's a reset button that reminds you life isn't just waiting at the destination. It's happening right now. And remember, our brains prioritize the negative. You could be having an amazing day with lots of smiles, and then one thing happens to throw a wrench in it, and that's all you can remember. So be intentional. What made me smile today? Number 3, reframe progress. Instead of measuring success only in outcomes, measure it in presence. Did I show up fully today? Did I take care of myself and others? Did I notice anything beautiful or unexpected? Even a hard day can be a whole day if you're fully in it. Don Miguel Ruiz, who wrote The 4 Agreements, gives a great perspective in his 4th agreement, which is give your best. What is amazing about this is the idea that whether you have 20% to give today, or 80 or 100%, give it all. So many times we think, I'm just not into it today. I'll just skip this day and show up tomorrow. Don't waste a day. Give what you have to give. Number 4, set being goals, not just doing goals. Not every goal needs a checklist. I know, I love my checklists. Try setting goals like, be more curious this week. Listen without planning my response. Slow down and enjoy my morning coffee. Another good one is look up. How many times do you find yourself looking down, either at the work you're doing, at what's ever in your hands, whether it's your phone, your computer, TV, whatever, and when's the last time you just looked up? Look at the trees. Take a moment, drink your coffee. Don't need to be reading at this moment. Don't need to be scrolling. Just looking at the trees. These types of goals anchor you in the now, not just the next. Remember, being driven doesn't mean being distracted. With a little awareness, you can be both focused and fully present. The road is long and rich when you choose to see it. I want to share an excellent piece from Psychology Today titled Mindfulness and Being Present in the Moment. It dives into how living in the present can deeply enrich not just our days, but our entire lives, and why speeding toward the next thing often robs us of the joy right here, right now. Have you ever heard the saying, "Don't let the future steal your present"? It's a powerful statement. Many of us could benefit from following this mantra as it teaches the importance of mindfulness. If you've never heard of mindfulness before, you must be under a rock. It's the practice of being present in the moment. It's also the core of meditation practices and something one must master in order to become truly skilled at meditation. The author said, "I work on teaching many of my patients how to be more mindful, which inherently means learning and practicing how to be more present in the moment. The benefits of this type of mental lifestyle are plentiful. Those who live in the moment tend to be happier, calmer, and more relaxed, and appreciative. Mindfulness can also increase your ability to be in tune with your thoughts, emotions, and body sensations, which allows you to work with these human factors and communicate how you're thinking and feeling to both yourself and others. I often tell my patients that depression lives in the past and anxiety lives in the future. Alternately, calmness and peace of mind live in the present. One of the treatments that I frequently use in my work with patients, acceptance and commitment therapy, ACT, really focuses on mindfulness as one of its key components. Mindfulness is included for multiple reasons, including increasing your self-awareness and learning how to be focused and fulfilled in the moment. In fact, one of the premises taught in this treatment under the mindfulness approach is about letting your mind steal time from you. Your mind may be stealing your time. What does this mean? Well, have you ever been on vacation or doing something you really enjoy, but had the thought, "I don't want this to be over," or "This is so fun, but soon it will be Monday and I'll be back at work"? This type of thinking only allows your mind to steal away your precious time. And in reality, the time will naturally pass and exciting, joyous occasions will naturally come to a close. So don't feel as though you have to perceptively speed up that process. When you have thoughts like these, rather than being in the moment and enjoying what you're doing, you're focused on when it will come to an end. This type of thinking, non-mindfulness, will take away from you being in the moment and doesn't allow you to get as much as you can out of the experience. After all, part of the excitement is the buildup of getting there. Another example of this is when you have something very exciting approaching, perhaps a trip, your wedding, a reunion, or a big party. Let's run this example for a moment. You may be so excited about the trip that all you can do is think about and plan for it. However, by thinking this way, you're essentially wishing away the time between now and the trip, which is going to pass anyway, because that's what time does. Then before you know it, you're on a trip and then it's over. A better approach to savoring the upcoming excitement of the trip is to literally do that, to be present in the moment, including the time leading up to it, and not wish away the time until you get there. The excitement of awaiting something out of the ordinary or special is easily understood, but by focusing so heavily on what's to come, you miss out on what's in front of you. And for something big that's approaching, this usually means that you wish away the present rather than savoring the excitement leading up to the big event. Then before you know it, the trip has arrived. You have the experience, and then it ends up in the past. By being present in the moment and savoring the time leading up to it, you obtain a higher level of satisfaction and allow yourself to have a better experience while feeling more fulfilled. A trip or other infrequent occasions are good examples of the benefits to being present in the moment. But the approach of being present in the moment can also be applied to your everyday life. Time is a precious commodity.
When you really philosophize about it, there's only one thing you don't have enough of, and that's time. Time is the only truly scarce commodity. And then, when you come to that realization, I think it's very important that you spend your time wisely. And I think most of us have no regrets about things we did, but I think we can have regrets about things we did not do. More people have come around to this. So what one wants in life is experiences. And that's a way of filling the time one has.
I love that clip. Don't you? It just gets me. Don't mentally rush through it or wish it away. Savor the moments, even those of boredom. They too will pass. And even in those slower moments of life, being present in the moment will increase your appreciation and relaxation in them, as opposed to anxiety or depression if your mind is focused elsewhere in time. So in a nutshell, this breakdown is clear and compassionate. Chronic autopilot. We're often physically present, but mentally miles away. We're lost in our to-do list, our worries, our future fantasies. That mental fast-forwarding steals our joy. Raise your hand, chronic autopilot for sure. Presence as power. Mindfulness isn't about zoning out. It's about fully engaging in what's happening right now. That's where clarity, peace, and even happiness live. And you have everyday access. You don't need a retreat or a meditation mat to be present. Whether you're sipping tea, driving to work, or laughing with a friend, those moments count. In short, being present is the only real way to live fully. It's not about having more time. It's about noticing the time you already have and making it matter. Let's slow it all down for just a few minutes. I want to invite you to stop rushing and start noticing. You've been working hard, thinking about your future, your goals, your growth. But what about right now? This moment, this breath is the only guarantee we have. So let's be here together. Take a deep breath in and out. Now, if you're able, grab a pen and some paper, or simply settle into a quiet space and reflect as I walk you through a few thoughts. Let's begin. What's happening right now that deserves your attention? It could be the way the sunlight is hitting your window, the warmth of the coffee in your hand, the quiet moment you've carved out to just be. What are you grateful for right now in this exact moment? Where is your mind spending most of its time? Do you find yourself stuck in the past, reliving old stories, regrets, or missed chances? Or maybe you're living in the future, strategizing, planning, waiting for life to finally feel ready. What does it feel like when you're fully in the present? And how often do you give yourself permission to be there? What are you afraid might happen if you stop pushing? So many of us are afraid that if we slow down, we'll fall behind. That rest means weakness. But what if slowing down gave you more clarity, not less? What if presence is what helps you move forward, not pressure? How can you bring yourself back to now when you notice yourself drifting? Are there anchors in your day that help you recenter? A walk, a journal, a deep breath, a mantra? What might you need to build in, even for 2 minutes, to check in with yourself and reconnect? And finally, what are you missing by rushing through life? We often think fulfillment is somewhere in the future. But what if it's already unfolding right here? What if joy is in the details we're too busy to notice? Take another deep breath. You're here, and that's enough for now. I have worked with many young people, and I've been finding a common thread that I want to share. So before we close, I want to share a powerful message that really ties this conversation together. It comes from a video I watched recently that captured something I've been hearing more and more, especially from young people. There's this overwhelming sense of urgency, this pressure to have it all figured out, to get ahead, to speed things up before you're truly ready. So this short talk explores that tension, that fear of being behind in life, and the reminder we all need that it's okay to slow down, to take your time, and to grow at your own pace. Let's take a listen.
I've been thinking a lot about this phenomenon of feeling behind in life, which is something I've come up against quite a bit in my life, and something that I think a lot of my friends and peers go through as well, especially when I bring it up in conversation. I just feel like people identify with that very quickly. And it makes me think that this is probably an issue on a bigger scale than I initially thought, you know? It's sort of something I think many of us can't quite put our finger on or articulate very well or are combating silently, but it's still there, it still exists, this feeling of like not measuring up, never being able to catch up. And what I find so interesting is that everybody has their own version of that. Thinking about that has really made me reconsider aspects of myself. For example, the fact that I'm very competitive. You know, I used to think that that was a really good thing because I'm motivated and determined and very forward thinking, but on the same token, I feel like that's also robbed me of a lot of joy, of a lot of pleasure. You know, always having to be better, move forward, improve, get the advantage, get ahead. And that's kind of an ugly thing to admit. And I've been trying to figure out why this comes up so much in my life, why this is such a deep drive. And I know I'm not supposed to compare it to others. I should focus on myself and be in my lane, but it's built into us. Thousands of years ago, say you're a farmer, and the farmer next door is doing the same things you are, so you think, but they're having much greater results. It's in your best interest to find out what they're doing, right? It gets really messy when you think about the fact that, I'm part of the problem, if you will. Like, who wants to show the worst moments of their lives anyway, right? And if you look at my Instagram or you look at the things that I've posted, you might come to the conclusion that I'm living in an extraordinary life, right? And I've had a good year. I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to complain about my life. I have had an exceptional year and it's been full of incredible experiences. But what I post doesn't tell the full story. It just doesn't. It doesn't tell the story of the self-doubt, of the fear, of the moments of not knowing what to do, of regret, of the stress that I felt, of the anxiety. I'm not trying to make a sob story, but these are things that I think we all go through. I think we all, in some way or to some level, have felt what depression is, or sadness at the very least. And that's the part I think a lot of us kind of want to put to the side. I do. I know I want to be happy as often and as much as possible. If I could always be in a state of positivity and of creativity and of being giving and generous, who wouldn't want to be in that mode at all times? But I just don't think that is how it works. What I've been kind of realizing little by little is that competitiveness and that need to not be feeling behind, right? To desperately move forward. I think for me, at least, I'll just speak in my case, is based out of a lack of self-love. I don't hate myself, or I don't think I do, but I also am not okay with where I am or who I am at this point in life. I haven't accepted me, which I think would be massively liberating. This feeling of being behind. Well, behind what? Whose measuring stick am I using? Where did this come from? It's all living in my brain. Everybody's version of this is different. That should be a telltale sign that this is invented. This is not something that makes any rational sense. To think that life can be calculated or predicted is wrong. It's wrong. It's non-linear. You can't calculate where you'll be in 5 years or 10 years or 20 years. You can't. That's not possible. I've tried to do that and disappointed myself. I worked with a director of photography who I think is exceptionally talented. And we just kind of had a heart-to-heart conversation. This guy's a lot older than me, so he's had a lot more life experience. But in that conversation, we talked about some of these sorts of things, and he said to me, I'm basically where you're at, I'm at the same stage, trying to figure out where I'm going or what I'm going to be doing. That was such a huge revelation. I realized that we all go through this. This is something that is shared by all of us in a way. And that's kind of amazing. That's a relief. I feel such a weight lifted off myself when I allow myself to accept that. I'm not crazy for thinking this way. A lot of us are going through this. When the day comes, or if the day comes, that I'm able to finally get it in my head that I am who I am how I am, I'll be able to accept that I'm doing the best I can. And that there's no such thing as being behind in life. That's just using a measuring stick that's wrong for you. It's a measuring stick that's based on the success of others, which is arbitrary. It doesn't mean that has no meaning when translated into your life. And I think what I need is just reminders of that. I just need to not forget that. It's so easy to forget. I feel like I have to remind myself every day. And I think that's why I wanted to make this, to remind myself.
If you want to share encouragementology with a friend who needs to know they're not alone in this journey of self-discovery, you can visit encouragementology.com or anywhere you stream your content to receive this episode and all others. Check out the show notes for the 5-day journaling companion and follow us on Facebook and Instagram for additional encouragement throughout the week. So I challenge you, take a breath and look around. What beauty, progress, or peace might you be missing in your race to the finish line? Give yourself permission to slow down and be fully present for the moments that are happening right now. I know you can do it. Thank you for listening to Encouragementology with Kendall Boyson, where we find positive ways to handle some of life's challenges.
I stumbled through until the path was clear. That's when I